What if you were in the same situation in 12 months' time that you are in today? What if your business was stuck in Groundhog Day or Groundhog Year, but your kids weren't? They will be a year older. But will you have any more of the resources that you want for your family? Will you have more time? Will you be more mentally present? How much of your tiredness at the end of the year is actually not from the work that you did, but from the results that you didn't get? Imagine that you are feeling as spent as you are right now, but there was an extra $150,000 in your bank account. In a strange, weird, odd way, that would feel completely different, wouldn't it? We don't get defeated by effort. We get defeated by a lack of reward.
Remember, failure was part of the objective of entering the gym this morning.
Are there things in your business that are worse off for having you involved in them?
How can I use my business as a way to be there for my family more?
Those outputs can only be reined in and intentionally developed or directed by managing the inputs.
Forced us eventually to take over 2 years of our life to dig out of just to get to zero.
You don't have the things from the places you haven't gone to.
Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. The flies come for the poo, right? There's a push-pull effect with all of your marketing, and it needs to be pushing away the customers that are not a good fit and drawing in the ones that are.
Hey, welcome to all of you, bandits and chilies. This episode is called Groundhog Year, the real reason you didn't hit your goals. If you're listening to this episode around the time that it comes out, it's near the end of the year, your cleaning business is as busy as it gets if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, and you're trying to keep up with everyone wanting everything done before the world ends on December 25th. In the midst of all of that, you're planning for Christmas, for the holidays, for your well-earned end-of-the-year break, but underneath it all, maybe there is this niggling unease. How has this year ended already? Shouldn't I be better prepared for next year? Shouldn't I have a plan or a budget or something? Did I hit my goals this year? Like, I'm scratching my head. What were those goals again? Wasn't there some New Year's resolution that I made a month or so back? Oh, that was 11 and a half months ago. Good grief. Now, maybe you've had a really good year, and maybe you stuck out your plans, and maybe you even have a really good solid plan for the next 12 months. But perhaps behind the fast-paced wrap-up to the year, you have a fear that you're ignoring. What if nothing changes? What if nothing changes? What if the business is in more or less the same position as it is right now in a year's time? What if you are putting all of this work into growing your business with the vision that it better serves your family in some specific way, but instead the time is spent, the sacrifices are made, the bedtimes, the footy training and the dance recitals are missed, and in return, you are no closer to the vision of that goal, to the version of your business that allows you to have that extra profit for that big family holiday, that extra time, that extra mental bandwidth, that reduced stress, that house deposit, that magical employee that allows you to take a real step back and make it to more of the kids' milestones that you are feeling guilty for either missing or nearly as bad for being physically present but mentally absent at. Sit with that for a moment. Again, this is a really busy time of the year, so it can be easy to not sit with anything at the moment. You've got stuff to do, I get it. But this might be a genuinely scary thought for you. What if you were in the same situation in 12 months' time that you are in today? What if your business was stuck in Groundhog Day or Groundhog Year, but your kids weren't? They will be a year older. But will you have any more of the resources that you want for your family? Will you have more time? Will you be more mentally present? Will you have booked that trip or bought that home or whatever it might be? New Year's resolutions can be a bit of a cliche, but even if you don't take it that seriously as a time marker, it is a pretty hard one to miss. It serves as a reminder that another year has gone by, and so you've got your "you are here" marker in the stream of time. And when you compare that to your "you are here" marker in terms of your business's goals and your family goals, it can be a wake-up call. For a lot of people, New Year's resolutions or goals in general are kind of like dreams. It's nice to daydream and to think about these things that might happen. But what about the flip side? What is the cost to you if you don't hit your goals? Myron Golden says that the most expensive thing in your life is your knowledge gap. If you don't know how to make $1 million next year, then every year that you don't know that, it's costing you $1 million. If you have things that you want to achieve for your family, what does it cost your family if you don't achieve those things? And again, worse yet, what is the cost of the sacrifices that you make in an effort to hit those goals? And what happens if you see no reward? That is really the worst of both worlds. Now, I don't want this to be too depressing, but just pop a bookmark in that feeling for a moment and then think about this. What is your relationship to sacrifice like? What is your relationship with hard work and going without? Because maybe, just maybe, some of what we've just talked about comes from treating sacrifice in and of itself as a virtue. Sacrifice is not a virtue. Sometimes it is necessary to sacrifice in exchange for a reward. But if there is no reward and you have worked really hard, you've sacrificed for it, then you just got ripped off. You paid for something that you didn't receive. Except that's not really true, is it? You didn't pay for it, or you would have received it. This isn't some universal conspiracy where you're just not getting the right change from the balance of what's happening in your life. The outputs, the outcomes that you're receiving are correct when all of the factors are taken into account, right? So it's not that you're getting ripped off. It's not that you're not receiving or being shortchanged this reward that you are due. It's just that you didn't pay for it, or you would have received it. If you put the hard work into the right things that result in the payoff, then you get that reward. So really, sacrifice without reward is misallocation. But sacrifice with reward, that is investment. So how can we spot the difference in advance? We don't want this to be like our profit and loss where at the end of the year we've looked at this document for the very first time, which you shouldn't do, by the way. But at the end of the year you look at it and you go, oh wow, I lost all this money. When did that happen? Or wow, I made all this money. Where is it? Instead, we want to know this in advance and we want to know this as it's happening rather than just being reactive to the news of what has already happened when it is now too late to change anything about it. So how can we spot the difference in advance? The thing that gets a lot of people into trouble, and I have fallen into this trap myself many times, is mistaking effort for progress. You don't get a participation trophy. Being busy has nothing to do with your ability to succeed. One of the biggest misconceptions about growing a cleaning business is the idea that you need to work harder in order to make more profit. This is a tricky and treacherous little falsehood because, like all of the best lies, it is partially true. Profit can be the direct result of hard work, and there is probably some hard work required between where you are and where you want to be. But the thing is that the effort required is just one factor. Where that effort is exerted is critically important. I've mentioned this on a previous episode, but there are businesses that are doing twice as much as you, or that have 5 times, 10 times as much revenue, 27 times as much profit as your business is producing. And the owners of those businesses, each individual, they all only have 168 hours in their week, just the same as you. So they cannot be working 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, or 27 times as hard as you. That just isn't possible. Yet sometimes, even when we know this stuff, we can fall into that trap and think, if I just work harder, then... Another trap that people fall into is not changing what isn't working or what isn't serving you. As humans, we default to inaction. We're creatures of habit. Not making a change feels like the neutral choice, but it isn't. Imagine these two scenarios, right? You've got like a Netflix subscription or something, and they charge you $15-20. I don't know how much Netflix is these days. They charge you that per month, right? And simultaneously, you go and buy a coffee every week. Let's just call Netflix $20 a month, and let's call your coffee, you buy one takeaway coffee per week, and it's $5. So both things are costing you $20 a month. One is a formalized subscription where they take the money out of your account on the 4th of each month or whatever, right? And the other is kind of this ad hoc thing, and it's just the fact that it's your habit that you go and you purchase. It might not even be on the same day, but this is your regular coffee spot. You go there regularly, and if you were to track it backwards through the transactions in your bank account, you see that on average, you go there once a week and you buy a $5 coffee. Both of those things are costing you essentially the same amount of money each month. They're both this subscription, but one of them feels like a choice and the other one feels like this kind of neutral decision that's already been made, like what we're talking about, where there's no cost associated because you're just maintaining what is already there. The way that that reflects itself in the reality of your finances is the same. So when we think about inaction, defaulting to inaction, not making changes, not rocking the boat, not doing anything different, we think of that as being neutral. But it is actually already costing us or making us whatever amounts it is costing us and making us in each element of our life. This is the culmination of all of the systems that we have going on in different areas of our life, and they are all acting as assets and liabilities to our life in the production that we get at the end of the day, end of the week, end of the year, as like the profit and loss or the bank balance of the results that we get, the outputs of our life, whether that's fitness, energy, finance, family relationships, whatever. It's all there. It's all like that. And again, we can feel as though those inactions are neutral decisions, but they just fundamentally are not. They're no different than making a new decision each and every time. But that would be really taxing on us. Imagine if you couldn't, like psychologically, you could not put any of these things in the completed, done pile. We couldn't close any of the tabs. Every time that you had any subscription, you had to manually renew it. You had to manually pay for everything. You had to manually decide every single meal, every single habit that you currently have, all of these heuristics or shortcuts in your mind about decisions that you've made and patterns that you've fallen into. They all serve us because it allows us to expend less bandwidth energy on the things that we're already doing. We have these patterns of behavior, and they've obviously served us well in the sense that you are still here to be served by them, right? They've kept you alive to this point. You've probably got a roof over your head, right? So things are going well in some sense, but our entire brain structure and psychology is geared towards maintenance. It's geared towards more of the same because the same is what has brought us this far. But each of those things, whether it's a habit, whether it's a subscription, whether it's this background thing going on that we're not even aware of, they are not neutral. All of them act as pluses and minuses on each area of our life that they touch, okay? So, bit of a rant, I know, but the point that I'm driving towards with all of that is that we are creatures of habit, and not making a change, it feels like the neutral choice, but it isn't. Each time we just wait and see what one more year brings, the effects compound. Our habits, our fears, our identity stagnates, and our default behaviors become further embedded. If next December looks like this December, that silent tax can be hard to quantify, but make no mistake, it is there. You are paying for it. Inaction or a lack of change is not neutral. You are paying for it, you are reaping the results. So let's look at 3 things that keep you stuck and how to break free from them. First up, working hard on the wrong things. Now, this is kind of an obvious one and it flows on from everything that we've just talked about, but at the end of the day, if you work really, really hard and you stretch yourself and you make sacrifices in pursuit of what is essentially a bad strategy, then all you are doing is revealing the problem at a deeper level when all of that effort isn't paying off. You cannot just make the bad strategy work by doing it harder, right? Like the visual that comes to mind is just hitting your head against the wall. It's not a good strategy unless you have some weird, perverse goals, but like maybe if I just do it harder, then it will work. No, the strategy itself is fundamentally flawed. Let's change the strategy. Let's exert that energy into something that could be more productive. So the solution to this is to evaluate and reevaluate your strategy. A great place to start is with this question, okay? This is another big one, all right? This past year, where did I sacrifice without reward? Right? Rough question, hey. Where did I sacrifice without reward? This will help you to quickly identify the biggest problem areas where your efforts are not paying off. And the best part about this is that once you can see some things that you should stop doing, you have the time and money that was going into those things to reallocate to the new strategy. You're not trying to just do a new thing on top of everything else and with no new resources, resources that you don't have. No, you get to recoup those resources. And if you can find a higher leverage way to get the result that you want, you might actually just have more time and or more money from that exercise alone. So that is evaluation. and then simply putting some markers in place to reevaluate as you go for the next year. So, for example, you could set up a monthly recurring reminder on your phone to ask that same question. Where did I sacrifice without reward this month, this week, whatever it is, whatever time frame works for you? That builds in that feedback so that you can effectively pivot. But the second area really compounds the issue of this first area, and this is identity blocks. It's not just that you're working hard on the wrong things. It's also that you see yourself as the kind of person who does the things that you do. Your behaviors, your ideas, your beliefs are more entrenched than a simple evaluation of what isn't working will solve. Over time, as you continue with certain behaviors, they impact on your identity and you become that person. So when you want to make those shifts, that's why these tiny little shifts that we need to make can feel so hard sometimes, because they are imprinted within the very organism of our being. Just as an example, maybe you have a limiting belief baked into the software of your brain that says, sacrifice now, reward later. These limiting beliefs can be so tricky because it sounds so reasonable. It could even be like a motivational poster. Sacrifice now, reward later. But the issue is that we treat our limiting beliefs as being 100% true, 100% of the time, when maybe they're only true 14% of the time, or 37% true, or they're 81% true. Maybe that belief pattern is causing you to never see the reward of later because tomorrow never comes. So it is only leaving you with the part that's sacrifice now. That's just one example, and it may well not apply to you, but some of this stuff will apply to you. So what can you do about identity blocks? I've put a link in the description to a 28-minute video on this from the Newell of Knowledge YouTube channel. When you have more than 28 minutes, sit down, watch it, write down your thoughts, and see what you can find. This video is the best thing that I have come across that will help you to actually identify your personal limiting beliefs. Once you have identified them, half of the battle is won. Also, it is no coincidence that we cover this in detail one-on-one in the Freedom and Profit Quest. Because in pursuit of massive changes with regards to the way that your business can serve you and provide you with more time and more profit, this stuff represents a huge portion of the obstacle between where you are and where you want to be. This stuff really matters. Right now, there are 11 free spots left. So go and secure your free Freedom and Profit Quest, link in the description. Okay, so that is working on the wrong things and identity blocks. The last thing that we're going to look at here is isolation. Working intensely on your own business is inherently isolating, because when you personally get deeper into your business, or even your area of your business, you have all these nuances and struggles and wins and knowledge that you gain from that experience, but you did it alone, and you can't share the full depth of all of that with someone else. Even if your spouse is your business partner and you work on the business together, you will still have these parallel and non-overlapping experiences. That's fine. It's just the nature of it. But also, because you are your own boss and you have this completely unique lane that you are in, it can lead to a lack of accountability, structure, and external perspective. So what can you do about that? Well, build some of that in. Find accountability, structure, and external perspective. Jump into our free school group, link in the description, and use it as a place to call your shot or a sounding board for ideas and struggles. In my paid program, we have a one-on-one ACES call, which stands for Accountability, Clarity, Execution, and Strategy. It's like you are trekking through the jungle, and once per month, you find a tall tree to climb. You elevate your perspective, you can see more clearly where you've just been, where you are in relation to your goal, and then you can course correct so that when you climb down, you have a renewed clarity and a calibrated strategy that you can execute with accountability. So here's a question for you to add to your goal setting and New Year's resolutions. What am I going to leave behind from this year? What won't I carry forward? What am I done tolerating? Because maybe it's the weight of some of those things that is inhibiting your ability to reach your goals. Maybe there is a part of the old you that needs to be left behind to make room for the new version of you that is the kind of person who does the kinds of things that gets you the kinds of results that you desire. Here's another question to think about. How much of your tiredness at the end of the year is actually not from the work that you did, but from the results that you didn't get. Imagine that you are feeling as spent as you are right now, but there was an extra $150,000 in your bank account. In a strange, weird, odd way, that would feel completely different, wouldn't it? We don't get defeated by effort. We get defeated by a lack of reward. Think about a marathon runner crossing the finish line, or a boxer as the referee holds his glove in the air. They have just spent all of the effort that they had. But we don't call that moment defeat. That moment is victory. Same for you. You're not tired of the hard work. You're not afraid of more of the same. You're afraid of another year where nothing changes. A great way to start the new year is with a Freedom and Profit Quest. Book your free spot via the link in the description. We will work together one-on-one to build your custom 12-month map and identify how to better leverage your efforts so that your business can give you more profit and more time. Don't let this year be another year of marginal gains or stagnation. Don't let it be Groundhog Year. Make this year the year where your business actually starts serving your family the way that you want it to. That's it. Have an awesome day. Make someone else's day awesome. I love you just the appropriate amount, like take whatever is weird and then take a healthy step backwards from that line. That's exactly how much. If it's weird, you're the weirdo. Catch ya. Bye.
Hey, you're a family-oriented business grower. You should join our free group for family-oriented business growers. It's like the perfect place for someone your size and shape. Join via warplan.au, link in the description, and whilst you're there you can book a free clarity call with me to help identify the next 3 dominoes you need to knock over in your business.